All right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you guys are having a great rest of your day, start to your day, whatever time it may be. Better than me, because unfortunately, one of the worst things that can happen to anybody happened to me yesterday, man. The 2-valve was involved in a hit and run accident. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get the person's plates. They dipped out on me. Houston people, man, something else. Now, the damage is actually not what I'm really upset about. I'm irritated about the events that led up to the accident, because in no way, shape, or form should this have happened. Let me go ahead and explain what went down and what's gonna happen in the future. If you guys are excited to hear the story and want to stay up to date, feel free, drop a like in the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so here's the damage. The rear bumper kind of got, pressed in. It was on this side of the rear bumper. Luckily, it happened on this side of the bumper and it wasn't on this side, because this is where the fuel pump and the filter is at, as well as kind of the connector to the sump tank. I believe the feed line to the sump tank is on this side as well. So very happy that it was not on this side. That would have been really bad. As soon as I got hit, that was the first thing I thought of, was like, oh fuck, dude, I'd probably messed up the fuel pump, the filter, the sump tank. But honestly, it really isn't that bad. I could pop this out. If I was to take, my heat gun or just hit it with some hot water, I probably could just pop this right out. This bumper's already seen better days. It already had a little bit of cracking, like right here, from, I guess, just maybe a previous impact or something like that before I owned the car, or maybe just, wear and tear. But right here, it just needs to be popped out. On the trunk, some marks right here, up here. I got hit by an SUV, so the fact that this is just the majority of the damage is remarkable. Really remarkable. Luckily, the airbag did not deploy. Otherwise, this car would be at a junkyard right now. Wouldn't be making this video. We good. But the way this happened is really unfortunate, because it shouldn't have happened. And it's something that, well, as weird as it sounds, luckily it happened when it did happen, and not when I was like, in Mexico or doing a draggy hit. Because to be honest with you, that would have been probably a serious accident with the car, no cap. The front of the car is fine. There was nobody in front of me, luckily. I was on the side of the road, immobilized. So let me go ahead and explain everything that's going on. Literally, like, everything inside of here, ain't nothing got messed up inside of the car. Literally just a rear impact. The tail lights are perfectly fine, which I'm actually surprised about. Really crazy how it just kind of just pushed it in. All right, let me go ahead and explain exactly what happened. I figured I'd jump in the car to go ahead and talk about this, just because there's a lot of stuff going on in my neighborhood right now, so you can hear me clearly. But I was a victim of the anti-theft system on these 99 to 04 cars, also known as the PAT system, passive anti-theft. Now, I wouldn't wish this on anybody, because this is seriously a dangerous situation to be in nonetheless. Now, I was driving home on the highway from doing some errands. It was raining outside, but it wasn't bad. Nothing that I have not experienced before. Living in Houston for about 2.5 years now, there's been way worse. It rains every other day. It rains out of nowhere. Y'all know, man, there'll be a monsoon every single week. It was nothing. Driving about 65 miles an hour on the highway, because obviously it's raining outside. I'm not comfortable driving fast on the highway. I got the Nitto R2 tires in the back, and also you have to be kind of conscientious of other people on the road. I was in the right-hand lane. Luckily, I was in the right-hand lane. If I was in the left-hand lane, this would have been another story. As I was driving, mind you, as I was driving, I noticed that my anti-theft light starts to go crazy. It starts flashing like no other, and the system kicks in while driving. Now, if you guys don't know what happens when anti-theft kicks in while you're driving, again, I would not wish this on anybody, because it is a very, very dangerous situation to be in. Now, I'm not that type of person to, you know, think of like what ifs, but imagine if this were to happen if I took the car to Texas 2K, or if I was in the middle of a draggy hit, or just in Mexico in general, right? Imagine if this would have happened. Now, when the anti-theft system kicked in, everything just goes dead, because the system thinks the car is being stolen. So the ignition is cut, throttle response is dead, and the car essentially locks up. So you do not have control of your vehicle at whatever speed you're going. Now, luckily, I did not go ahead and take my key out the ignition, because my first thought was, I need to get this car off the highway as quickly as possible. Because if I would have took the key out the ignition to try to go ahead and fire it back up, the steering wheel would have locked up, and I would have literally been a missile, you know, going 65 miles an hour down the highway. Again, imagine if this happened if I was, you know, at Texas 2K or doing a draggy hit. This would have been horrible. Now, because it just kicked in, I don't think the system was fully active yet. I was able to go ahead and get the car to turn over again, because everything shut off when anti-theft is on. It's designed to immobilize the car because, you know, the computer thinks it's being stolen. I don't know how this even happened, because it's never happened to me out of 9 years of having a new Edge Mustang. Literally. Let me know in the comment section if this has happened to you while driving the car. That's what I don't understand. I can get if it trips out, you know, parked up, but while driving the car. I was able to get the car to start up very briefly, because it's not going to idle when, you know, the anti-theft is on. It's going to cut it off again, because again, it thinks it's being stolen. I was able to get it fired up. I was able to get the car off the highway, because luckily I was not far from an off-ramp. But again, I have no idea where I'm at, because I'm not on, you know, the side of town that I normally am on. So I get off the highway, and I literally go ahead and have to coast this car to the side of the road, because there's a lot of road debris on the highway. You know, it rains, stuff like that. People just figure out how to drive out here in Houston. There's a lot of accidents. I knew for a fact that if I was on the highway, something bad would have happened, because the shoulder, it wasn't safe. People were driving in the shoulder because it's raining. You know, it was a disaster. So I was able to get the car off the highway, and I'm on a 2-lane street, right? 2 lanes going, you know, this way, and then 2 lanes going the opposite direction with a divider in the middle. And there was a bike lane. There was no shoulder, unfortunately. So half the car is in the bike lane, and half the car is like actually on the street. Now, unfortunately, because the car is in anti-theft mode, and because of the area that I was in, there was no kind of area where I could have pushed the car to get it to like a parking lot, or somewhere where the car was fully off the road. But once I was able to kind of go ahead, like I said, and coast the car off the highway, you know, people knew that there was something wrong, because there was a car that was not moving, that was halfway in the bike lane, halfway in, you know, the street. People were going around the car, you know, they weren't going fast whatsoever. But again, nobody was rendering aid. I get it, it's Houston, you know, it's raining outside, people are out at, you know, they're out for themselves out here. I fully understand, you know what I'm saying? People don't want to get out their car with a car, you know, that's randomly on the side of the road. You know, it could get sketchy real fast. You know what I'm saying? People, you know, people move different out here. I understand that. But there was an SUV that was, you know, coming fast behind me in my lane. Again, my car is halfway in the bike lane, halfway in the street. There's plenty of cars going around. You know, 2 and 2, you'd put together that, you know, something ain't right. And this car was flying up from behind me. And I literally knew I was getting hit. If you've ever been in a situation where you just know you're getting hit, you just have to clench the steering wheel and then pray that, you know, the accident isn't that bad, right? There was nobody in front of me. There was nobody on the side of me. There was no on either side of me. People are going around the car slowly. People know there was something going wrong. But this guy or girl, whatever, in an SUV, bam, just rams right into me from behind. Now, before a lot of you guys are going to say, hey, man, why did you not try to just push your car as far away, you know, from where you were at as possible? Let me explain why, you know, I did not go ahead and get out my vehicle. Because again, this was only for about 3 minutes or so after I went ahead and got it off the side of the road. It's a 2-lane street. There was no divider, and it's raining outside. And again, it's Houston, right? People, they're out for themselves. People really are not, you know, they're not really smart drivers out here, unfortunately. You know, some are, but a lot of people aren't. I was not comfortable putting my back toward traffic when it's raining outside. That was suicide in my personal opinion. And also, going ahead and trying to push the car from the passenger side. Again, nobody's rendering aid at all. If somebody rendered aid and stopped, this wouldn't have happened. Still would have been fucked because the PAT system kicked in. But I was, you know, not comfortable trying to push the car from the passenger side, because again, I would have had no control of the wheel. And you know, I can't reach from this side of the car pushing it and steering at the same time. You know, my arms are not that long. And you know, if I was pushing the car, you know, what if it started to veer off into the lane of traffic that people were trying, you know, avoiding me in? Or if the steering wheel locked up, the car is literally, again, it's a dead stick just driving into traffic. So it was a lose-lose situation. I got rear-ended. Unfortunately, the person that did rear-end me, they booked it. They ran. You know, it's Houston. You know, people were, you know, kind of warning me about stuff like this happening, you know, when I first moved here. And I was like, you know, people aren't really that scummy. You know what I'm saying? People just are not that scummy. But unfortunately, that's what happened. I got hit. The person ran. I was unable to get their plates. But again, what the hell is that going to even do? The damage is already done. Luckily, you know, I was not hurt. And you guys saw the damage. You know, it wasn't as bad. But that's pretty much what went down. Just a really, really unfortunate situation. Now, I know some people are going to ask, did you try to reset the PATS system after it triggered? Yes, I did. But unfortunately, when the car broke down on the highway, my main priority, I think everybody else can agree, is to get the car off the highway as quickly as possible. And there just seriously was not enough time to do the system where you have to leave the car in the accessory mode, because that could take 10-15 minutes just for it to stop tripping out. Get it out of accessory mode, then you have to wait again and then pray that the system kind of resets itself. Obviously, that didn't happen. Didn't have enough time for that to even go ahead and happen. I let it sit for about, like I said, about a minute or so, because everything happened within 3 minutes after I got off the highway. And I put it back into like the non-accessory mode, tried to crank the car up, no start, and then bam, you know, I got hit. Unfortunate. It's just one of those things where it just shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. 9 years with New Edge Mustangs, I have never had this incident happen. But again, you kind of have to look at the big picture. At least it happened in a situation, and I guess in an area where I was able to get the car off the highway and into a safe spot. Not really safe, but you know, a safe spot to where, you know, it got hit, but it wasn't, you know, bodily damage to me, the person that hit me, and you know, the damage to the car, you know, wasn't, you know, a total loss. But at this point, I think I'm about done, for real. I really think I'm about done. It's just too much at this point, y'all. I'm gonna be completely honest. Now, I'm not one to give up easy because I've dealt with this car and, you know, we've made some major repairs on it these past 8 months. And I'm gonna use the term dealt with because there's been constant things going on with the car. I have enjoyed it. I'm gonna be lying if I said I did not enjoy it, but I think at this juncture, it's a sign. It broke down right before Texas 2K. It broke down again and got hit right before I was gonna take it to Mexico again. I think it's a sign, guys. I've not tried to start the car since the incident. I did put the key back in the ignition and the theft light was flashing like crazy, so it's still active. But I think I'm done with this for real. Now, I know we just got the hood on here and it looks good, but this is not enough. It's not enough for me to go ahead and keep this thing because at any given moment, you know, it could happen again. Now, I know the only way that I could fully kind of regain confidence and re-spark interest in this car would be if I was to completely redo it, and that means pulling the engine out and either getting another built 542 valve or coyote swapping the car with an aftermarket ECU, because whatever's in here right now, it needs to be, you know, dealt with, it needs to be tweaked. T56, you know, go through and fix up the interior and whatnot, but obviously the body of the car ain't clean. Again, paint needs to be redone. It's not bad, don't get me wrong, it could be done, but I don't think this is the car to do that to. I'm gonna be honest. I think everybody can agree this is not the car that should be done with. If I had the tools and the knowledge, I'd have this car parted out right now, 100%. I probably would keep the motor and the supercharger, but everything else would go, including the wheels and tires, because I didn't really spend that much on the wheels. It is what it is. Thank God I did not spend weld money on this car. I'd be pissed. So yeah, kind of unfortunate, but again, it is what it is, man. At least, you know, there was no bodily injury to me, and the car, you know, didn't really get damaged that bad. But I'm gonna keep you guys up to date within the next couple of days, because within the next couple of days, I'm gonna get this car gone. It's either gonna be sold or I'm taking it somewhere for it to be taken apart, and then obviously for it to be parted out. But this is it. Like I said, I'll keep you guys up to date. So if you guys enjoy, feel free, drop a like on the vid, subscribe to the channel, turn those post notifications, and I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. And if you guys are interested in picking up the car as is, I've had some interest already. Hit me up via Instagram. Reasonable offer as is. Obviously you're gonna need a trailer, so you know, I'll make you a good deal. But like I said, I'm giving it a couple days. If not, you know, it's going to get, you know, parted out. Yeah, catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.